Hey, good evening. Glad you could join me tonight. This is Bill Boshears in the Scizone till 12 o'clock. Don't you go away. We've got a lot to cover, and it's all about you and your money and a lot of other things. You may have heard something about the rumblings in Wall Street and some of the sky is falling kind of things. Well, we've got some news for you and some other things. By the way, I've got an update that was done on the internet from one of the leading dinar sales money vendors in the world, and his answers to questions. They put him over the grill. I got 29 of them. I've got the answers to a lot of dinar questions. Those of you who have invested in it. We'll get to that a little later. I got an email. By the way, I want to thank all the listeners from all over the world. You are, ladies and gentlemen, watching a national and international segment of the Scizone. Thank you for joining me. And those of you who have downloaded this and will be downloading it, some of you I know play it in coffee shops around the world. For those people having coffee, good day. I don't know how to say it in Farsi or any other way, but glad to have you aboard. We do this every week, and you're cordially invited. By the way, first off, if you are out there and you've got a computer, you can register to get some of these tickets this coming Wednesday night. We may be there. This is called How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. It's my call sign. It's the way I am. How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. It's a comedy. You'll enjoy it. It is funny. It is past funny. This is clever. I like comedy that is clever. This is clever. It's not stupid. Some of the stuff that guy puts on, Stiller, Stiller's not funny to me. I don't think he's funny. This group is a bunch of unknown. Well, they're not unknown. There's people we know here. But anyway, jump on WBQC's website, register, and you don't have to register 1,000 times. The machine will just kick it out in the same address. So anyway, now you got this. Join me. I'll be there. Hopefully I'll be there. I got an email from a friend of mine. Years ago, I had a guy on WLW with me a number of times. His name is Walter Burian. And Walter is a gentleman who turned me on to some information that really warped my mind, and it will you too. If you have a computer and want to go check and verify what we're talking about tonight, you need to take a look at the money the big boys are rolling over. This past week, we put a lot of money out, and now they're wanting $700 billion. Well, I'm not so sure that they ought to get it. And I want to hear from you tonight. Are you in favor of this bailout? Do you think it's a good idea? Boy, they're already there. Thank you. Robin and Thomas, we'll get to you. Listen to this. Take a look at the money bill. The big boys are rolling over. 3 reports show below that are behind the looking glass in the view. I note that the bank derivative report from JP Morgan Chase shows their net asset of $1.4 trillion. But they are rolling over and controlling $90 trillion in derivatives. Now, you all know what I've said over the past about derivatives and hedge funds. The trick to derivatives, they're kind of like an insurance policy that you and I could start a derivative. And we could put a derivative up for anything. And you can sell it. There were people buying it. Now, here's my point. This is something that the Congress and the Senate, nobody's mentioning this. We're going to bail out the banks in Europe because the banksters sold these derivatives to them, and it's our fault. We've got to bail them out. I want to know how you feel about that. Do you think that's a going thing? Should that be something that we do? I'm kind of concerned about it. I don't think that these guys ought to be allowed anywhere near a bank. They concoct these buyouts and sales of junk and we have to go bail them out and pay for it. I'm not really in, I'm looking for all my notes that I put down here. I'm really not in favor of this, not in any short form of it. And they've got to sell me a whole bunch of stuff before I buy this. This is not going to sit well. And if it does with you, you're dumber than a rock. You need to crawl out from under your rock and get educated to this. This ain't going to go away. This is the worst thing that could have happened. And you notice how they, oh, we've got to get this done right away. Oh, if we don't do it, the sky is going to fall and the stock market's going to crash and you won't be able to get a college loan or buy this or buy that. And it's so terrible. And the stock market went up 100 points. I rest my case. Well, that's just temporary. It's not going to continue to do that. I don't care. You see, I'm not invested in Wall Street. Yeah, but Bill, it controls everything. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't control my life. Well, Bill, there's a lot of people that are going to lose a lot of money. No, the banks lost a lot of money because they're crooked thieves. They dealt in derivatives. There was no oversight and no regulation of the derivatives, and they just printed them up willy-nilly and sold them to the banks, which was illegal if you look at legitimacy. And if you don't have any ethics, well, I guess that's all right. Most banksters don't. Banksters and politicians don't have any. They have very little, what can I call it? They just don't have, they're not honorable. They lie, cheat, and steal, tell you anything you want to get your vote, and then they do whatever they damn well please. That's why I don't trust Obama, Yo Mama, and nobody else's Mama Yama. And that John McCain, I don't trust him anywhere either. Do you realize that we're going to go back as far back as 15 years? Over 15, 20 years ago, I heard of derivatives. There's no law governing them. They're talking about, this is how they covered it. They'll say, well, you know, these are acid, they're toxic areas of this mortgage market. It's not a mortgage at all. It's a damn derivative. There's no oversight, no government over the hedge funds or the derivatives. So tell me again, let me see if I get this straight. The bankers did something wrong. As far as I can tell, it's wrong to sell something illegitimately. And I have to give you more money to keep you from going broke because somebody won't be able to go to college? Or, well, we won't be able to buy what? There won't be any credit for doing it. That's not a bad idea. Well, what about these people with their houses? Those people got to deal with that. If they were talking about mortgages, let me give you this. Why not do this? Take the $700 billion and give it to the American people who have problems with houses. Just give it to them, rather than give it to some damn bankster who's going to put it in his pocket anyway, whether you know it or not. Give it to the American people. They spend it back in. They pay taxes. Oh, yeah, they're paying taxes. And then they buy their house. They pay that off. And whatever money they got left, they can put that into motion. This country's broke. I've been telling you that for years now. It's not in a recession. This is a depression, the worst in history. Why is it a depression? Because we do not have any jobs in this country. You saw the debate between Fumble and Dumble and Dumber and Dumber. Neither of them said, this is how we're going to put jobs in Cleveland. This is how we're going to put jobs in the Midwest. This is how we're going to do this and this and this and this. Never got to that point. It was like, I have a wristband too. This is the most pathetic, and I know it's pathetic, because the American people are letting it happen. What in God's name is wrong with the American public? Where is 100 people marched in front of the White House yesterday. Should have been 1 million. And 700, God bless them, marched on Wall Street last week. The American people, if you sit by and let this happen, you will get exactly what you deserve. Do you want me to go to break? Say yes or no. We're going to do a break. I'm just getting wound up good here. Don't you go away. Leave them seat belts on. We're going to get to it, and we get to your phone calls. Hurry right back. 381-3838, area code 513. Some of the, I got to get that off set right there. It's not good. Anyway, a statement made by Sherrod Brown, one of the best I've heard. He said, why are we bailing out companies whose leaders got rich gambling with our economy? You got that right. Well, let's go to the telephones, and then I got a clip I want to play for you of Marcy Kepter. Bless her heart, she did a hell of a job on the floor. Wait till you hear this. Robin, you're on the air. Thank you for standing by.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth with what you said, that Sherrod Brown said. You know, I've been calling in. I've been watching since your very first show.
Thank you.
And you're welcome, and thank you. And I've got a couple of points tonight. Number one, about the bailout. Unfortunately, it's probably going to happen, and we know that. But again, now, you know, until I lost my job earlier this year, I was in the banking business too. And repeatedly, we tried to tell our upper management, please stop giving out these loans, the credit, mortgages, and everything else so freely. Now, what they did, they made millions in, in their own salaries and everything, and they pushed everyone to sell, open up accounts, sell credit cards, get mortgages, and they gave prizes, they gave awards, trips to the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, trips to Cancun, and so forth. And we kept saying, look, there's too much fraud. These are going to be bad debt. It's going to have to be written off. Please stop and look at what you're doing. But they didn't care. And honestly, I think that those people should go to jail.
I think they should too.
They should be held accountable.
If you don't tie jail time to this, don't give them the money. Beyond Wall Street, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which issued savers, saved their money from their collapse, has placed 117 banks in America on that watch list.
On the bad list, yeah.
I have a copy of that. And there are 8,500 banks on a watch list. Already 9 banks with assets of 42 billion pounds have collapsed. Much bigger ones will tumble as the weeks to come. Wachovia, America's 4th largest bank, with assets of 441 billion, saw the shares. But let me tell you what they're counting. They're counting these damn derivatives. The derivatives don't have any value.
Right.
Robin, you and I could set up a derivative tonight.
Well, let's do it. Might as well get rich like the rest of them.
See, we're not that dishonest.
I know.
So we sold it to all these banks in Europe, and then those poor people over there bought it. Oh, it's from America. Oh, we've got it, our sacred golden. And now it's going in the toilet, and they want us, you and me, and it amounts to, if you're holding on to your hat, I had it here a minute ago. It is unbelievable the amount of money they think we're going to give them.
Right.
See, you're not buying any of the mortgages. You're buying these stinking derivatives that were never regulated to start with.
Well, they should all be held accountable, Bill. They should all be held accountable. Now, the second thing I wanted to mention tonight, I don't know if you heard about this in the news or not. It was on MSNBC. It was also in USA Today, and that was about the Ferris wheel going up in Iraq. Have you heard about that?
We're supposed to pay for that, as I understand.
Well, no, actually we're not. What it is, now with all the billions that they've been making off, sticking it to us on the oil prices, they are seeking PR companies to help them to make Iraq a tourist destination.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to make a giant Ferris wheel. Now, this is one of their ideas, to make a giant Ferris wheel that would hold 30-person air-conditioned cabs, and people could go around in it and see the city and so forth and so forth. That's how they're spending their money when we're spending billions over there every week, and our lives And they're building us a Ferris wheel, and they're going to have a little tourist area and so forth.
Good for them. I could care less. I want the men home. By the way, if they get this money, they ought to bring every man, woman there home and stop giving the money to Iraq. End of story.
That's right.
I'm tired of funding a bunch of people. I gotta watch my mouth here because I have. Anyway, Robin, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Don't ever stop.
Thank you, Bill.
Take care.
Good night.
Let's go to and good night to you, Robin. And the number is 513-381-3838. Let's go. Somebody, there's a line open. Jump in. Let's go to Thomas. Thomas, you're on the air.
Yes, two things on the bailout. I'm against the bailout.
Good.
A lot of the liberals think that they're going to help and keep the other people that have loans that shouldn't have got the loans from falling.
Yeah.
No, they're just going to help the rich people in that. Then on this bin Laden, or Abaka bin Laden, as I call him?
Yeah,
Obama bin Laden.
I think you're close. Go ahead.
Yeah, Obama bin Laden's what I call him. There's no way that I want him as president. I mean, we're over there fighting Muslims, and then he's from that country, and he's in with that Randy Ayers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this cat has bad background, and I'm a victim of the Grand Runyon Bill, if you know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
And I hope that our soldiers don't become a victim like I was from that.
All right.
God bless you for your show.
Appreciate it, Thomas. Thank you, sir. 381-3838. The lines are open. It's time for you to get in. Right now, I'm going to play for. I'm do what? Let's do a break. We come back. I got a tape for you. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Oh, I'm back. Thank you for joining me tonight. There is we pulled a clip. Dave and a bunch of the guys, I showed them this, they put it up. You got to see this. This is Margie Kaptur on the floor explaining what's about. Listen to the detail this lady puts into it. The one thing she didn't mention was derivatives, but that's all right. We'll get that to her. Can you play that tape for me?
Mr. Speaker, here's the latest reality game. Let's play Wall Street bailout. Rule 1. Rush the decision. Time the game to fall in the week before Congress is set to adjourn and just 6 weeks before an historic election, so your opponents will be preoccupied, pressured, distracted, and in a hurry. Rule 2. Disarm the public through fear. Warn that the entire global financial system will collapse and the world will fall into another Great Depression. Control the media enough to ensure that the public will not notice that this bailout will indebt them for generations, taking from them trillions of dollars they earned and deserve to keep. Rule 3. Control the playing field and set the rules. Hide from the public and most of the Congress just who is arranging this deal. Communicate with the public through leaks to media insiders. Limit any open congressional hearings. Communicate with Congress via private teleconferencing calls. Heighten political anxiety by contacting each political party separately. Treat members of Congress condescendingly, telling them that the matter is so complex that they must rely on those few insiders who really do know what's going on. Rule 4, divert attention and keep people confused. Manage the news cycle so Congress and the public have no time to examine who destroyed the prudent banking system that served America so well for 60 years after the financial meltdown of the 1920s. Rule 5, always keep in mind the goal is to privatize gains to a few and socialize losses to the many. For 30 years, in one financial scandal after another, Wall Street game masters have kept billions of dollars of their gains and shifted their losses to American taxpayers. Once this bailout is in place, the greed game will begin again. But I have a counter game. It's called Wall Street Reckoning. Congress shouldn't go home to campaign. It should put America's accounts in order. To Wall Street insiders, it says no on behalf of the American people. You have perpetrated the greatest financial crimes ever on this American republic. You think you can get by with it because you are extraordinarily wealthy and the largest contributors to both presidential and congressional campaigns in both major parties. But you are about to be brought under firm control. First, America doesn't need to bail you out. It needs to secure the real assets and property, not your paper. That means the homes and properties of hardworking Americans who are about to lose their homes because of your mortgage greed. There should be a new job for regional Federal Reserve banks. We want no home foreclosed if a serious workout agreement can be put into place. And if you don't do it, we want a notarized statement by a Federal Reserve official that they tried and failed. Second, taxpayers should directly gain any equity benefits that may flow from this historic bailout. We want the American people to get first priority in taking ownership of the institutions that want to pass their toxic paper on to the taxpayers. Third, before any bailouts for Wall Street, America needs major job creation to rebuild our national infrastructure. America needs assets, not paper. We need working assets. Fourth, the time for real financial regulatory change is now, not next year. A modernized Glass-Steagall Act must be put in place. We need to reestablish locally owned community savings banks across this country and create within the Justice Department a fully funded unit to prosecute every single high-flying thief whose fraud and criminal acts created this debacle, and then force their disgorgement of assets going back 15 years. Fifth, any refinancing must return a major share of profits to a new Social Security and Medicare lockbox, where the monies can go to pay for a dignified and assured retirement for every American. This member isn't voting for a penny of it. Those who created and profited from this game of games must be brought to justice. The assets they stole must be returned to the American taxpayers, right down to the tires on their Mercedes. Mr. Speaker, I ask my colleagues to join me in co-sponsoring my bill to create an independent commission to investigate these well-heeled wrongdoers. Real reform now or nothing.
I'm the only one who can applaud that lady, but she should be running for president. The other two idiots of both parties need to step back and let that lady at the helm. She's got more spin on the ball than both those two yokels put together, because she's doing what you and I need done. We need jobs. Just give people jobs. Hell, we'll do the rest of it, you lazy gloats. Let's go to Mike. He's been there the longest. Mike, you're on the air. Hello, Mike, once. Hello, Mike, twice.
Hey, Bill, yeah, the second time I called in. Hey, Bill Bushier's for president.
You got it.
Hey, I love your show.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to ask about AIG. I called in last week. I was angry as hell. You sound like you are this week. I've calmed down a little bit. But AIG, what part of AIG has to do with the insurance companies?
It is the largest insurance company in the world, sir. One of the big, I guess, one of the big five. And we happen to have it here. They carried a lot of paper. They bought a lot of these derivatives, and they got their shorts dirty. They're dirty from the word go. Do I think we ought to bail them out? No. No bailouts. I'm sorry. I don't see. Nobody asked the American public if they were for it. Why the hell don't they put it up for a voting referendum?
Well, yeah, I didn't ask for it. Nobody does. They just do this stuff. Yeah, well, I don't want to get angry again. I was pretty angry last week when I called. But,
well, that's all right. I'm glad to have you. We'll help you cool off. I got some good news coming up.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, sir. Have a great night. Let's go to Wayne, who's standing by. Wayne, you're there, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, I've liked what you've been saying all night, because that's what I was going to comment about. That, Reagan started this, 20-some years ago with the trickle-down theory. Why not the trickle-up theory? And the $70 or $700 billion, give it to the taxpayers to get the economy going.
We may have an answer for that coming up.
And, you know, and like you also said about the American workers, you know, America works only if Americans are working. And all these jobs going everywhere else is just killing us.
We could stop it very quickly by doing one thing. We could stop all these jobs from going everywhere if we would start isolating ourselves and putting import duty taxes on it and levying taxes on the stuff coming in to make it cost as much as it used to, and therefore you wouldn't sell that junk. But see, China and Russia are standing by to buy most of this junk paper that we're going to sell them. Now, if you're a banker and you're dumb enough to buy this junk paper, you ought to be, I mean, I just can't believe that people buy stuff like that without checking into it. Wayne, it's without a doubt, it's a conundrum for these morons, but they're up and running. Wayne, I appreciate your call, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, somebody said something to me, and we're going to go to break. We're going to go to break. Don't you go away. The number is, all the lines are open, by the way. I don't know where you guys are tonight. 513-381-3838. Back in the Scizone, 513-381-3838. Jump in. Let's go to Henry. He's on the line. Henry, you're there, sir.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Well?
I really think that we need to do more fishing. We've had a problem. They've been taking a lot out of our time. We have no time to ourselves. We've been working constantly, weekends. It's ridiculous. We really need more time to go out and just enjoy ourselves.
Oh, okay. I guess you're right, sir. Thank you. Need more time. Okay. I don't know. Right here. There's no guarantee that $700 billion will cure the crisis. I didn't know anything about this until I was watching a guy from the BBC, and he told me this. He said, "You don't know how much we've got over here in derivatives." He said it could be in the trillions. He said somewhere between $7 and $12 trillion. Think about them numbers for folks, for a few minutes, folks. Billions don't look so bad now. The Treasury intends to raise the money by writing U.S. bills. They're called IOUs. And they're going to get the main buyer of these is most likely going to be China and the world's largest communist state. And you can't believe what, I mean, and if the Senate and the Congress go along with it, it's unbelievable. There is something out there with hope in it, as far as I'm concerned, and it happens to be Iraq. Iraq issued some currency called the dinar, and that dinar is out there. If the government was smart, which it's not, it would take the dinar's value because they have skid loads, I'm told, of the dinar that in plastic wrapped in some of these big banks. If they would take that money and put it on the Forex and make it a value of, let's say, $1.18, $1.20 to the dollar, and the people who have dinar in their position in this country could deposit it in their bank. Now, you bankers better listen up. I know some of you listen, and you're bright enough to pick up on this. Start what I would call foreign currency accounts. In other words, let me come back from Iraq or wherever I'm from, bring my money in and put it into my foreign money account. You take it and do something with it. You trade it on the Forex. Now the bank has liquidity. The value of the dinar is established, and so is the dollar. You peg them together. When one goes up, they ride the same. Now, is it worth $1? I don't know what it's worth. It's probably worth, if you could get the real estimate of the oil and the gold that's in Iraq right now and put that to some test, it's probably worth 20 to 1. 21, it's probably $20 that the dinar is probably worth to $1. Yeah, 20 to 1. It's a very valuable currency if they would do what I'm saying. But whether they will or not, I don't know. I do have this. One of the world's largest cash money trader, he buys and sells dinar. There's been a lot of talk about lopping off zeros off the currency. Bill and John, stand by. I'm coming to you. I'll be right with you. And there's a line open if anybody wants to jump in. Iran lopped their currency today. That's Iran, not Iraq. Iran did this. And all the talk about moving zeros was a cover-up for Iran. This is some of the answers that he gave and I have the answers here, and I'm going to read them to you. There's a few of them. And this gives you a whole new vantage point. There's nobody else in the country talking about this. The Iraq Development Fund will be released after the oil law and SOFA are approved. The next agenda for the oil law will be in November elections when they're done. Nobody that I've talked to in Iraq, and I've made a lot of calls lately, knows anything about the lot. They were going to cut the zeros off, but we found out some people did a lot. We did a lot of research. The Hunt Club did a lot of good stuff, and they found out that it was an old issue. It's not going to happen. Article 7 has nothing to do with the revaluing. The Talibani will get an answer about Article 7 from the UN this coming week. Zurich, the office, there will be a new exchange office after the RV, and there will be offices in Tennessee, California, Texas, New Mexico, Arkansas, and maybe New York, or maybe your local bank. Iraq is not using the $744 million loan that they got from the International Monetary Fund, but they are open line of credit from the IMF, and the oil reserves could increase their credit tremendously. If they decide, and this is me saying this now, if they put their monies in a basket of currencies and attach their oil to it, there's no telling how much the money would be worth and the oil. He says he was asked if he trusted WAMU, and he said, that's Washington Mutual. He said, I never trusted WAMU because it's a savings and loan. Money for the RV is in Dubai, not in the U.S. Money for the RV is in Dubai, not the U.S. They're asking, where is this money if you revalue it? What's the holding up of the oil and gas law? The Kurds. Iraq, the oil, the north, south, and west. Lowest denomination in the street, 50 dinar note. There were some 10,000, 25,000 a note pulled from the street in Iraq. No, I'm still buying them for my business, and he sells them. Anyway, that's just a few of his comments and so forth. Very up-to-date fellow. Let's go back to the phones. Okay, we'll do a break first, and we'll get to Bill and John. You guys stand real still. Don't go anywhere. Jump in. There's a line open, 381-3838. I want to talk to you tonight. Back in the Scizone, Bill Boshears with you till about 12 o'clock. By the way, get a pencil and a piece of paper. I want to give you a website to go look at. For those of you who don't know about derivatives, I'm going to show you where you go find out about your state, how much they've got invested in this junk paper. That stuff that she mentioned, Marcy Kapner, that toxic paper. That's what it is. Let's go to Bill. John, been there the longest. Let's go to Bill. Bill, you're there, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, Bill. This long time. I try to watch you as often as I can. Just have a couple of things. I'm not a rocket scientist. Don't pretend to be.
Okay.
But I find it very difficult to understand why, when the government gives a pittance, $600 to all these families in the springtime, and the economy seems to get worse, but we're ready to bail out those who put us in the problem in the first place with $700 billion.
Good point. Good point. Good point.
I just put a pencil to the paper. I'm probably way off, but if you took every person who is an IRS tax-paying citizen and a Social Security card carrier and gave each one of those families $300,000 each, approximately 300 million people would receive that. That would be $90 billion, a little bit shy of the $700 billion that they want to bail us out with.
Yeah, but we've got to make sure those guys get their golden parachutes.
Well, I'd like to give them a golden parachute in San Quentin or what have you.
Absolutely. It's right where they should go, sir.
But, they don't want to think about the individual citizens. Let's go ahead and make sure we bail out the people who already have the money.
You know, I have yet to talk to anybody except the people who are involved with getting the money. You know what I mean? The people who are going to get the money. They're the only ones saying, hurry up, get this thing done, because we've got to get, the sky is falling. Everybody else is saying, whoa, hold on a minute, Leon.
Well, they want
easy.
the money now because they got their vacation plans already set up.
Yeah.
Bill, it's always been a pleasure to talk with you.
It's a real pleasure to have you, sir. Don't be late. Be here next week.
Absolutely.
You got it. Let's go to John. John, thank you for being there, sir.
Good evening, Bill. I might like to make a comment about this bailout. I think we need to arrest every one of them clowns that's caused this problem for everyone. And also, I agree with the gentleman before you. I think you ought to give everybody money and give it back to the taxpayers instead of bailing these clowns out.
Absolutely.
And I also think a lot of this I goes back to, I believe the mafia is running the country.
No, it's not the mafia. But it's close. I trust the mafia more than I trust the banksters.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right there too, I guess.
You got it. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, my friend. Get a pencil. You need to look at this.
Thank you very much, Bill.
You got it. Here's a website I want you to go to and take a look at. And look in depth. Look at the Federal Reserve, look at the U.S. Treasury, and look at the report. Here's it is. It's www. You don't have to put that down. It's CAFI.com. CAFI.com. CAFI.com/states treasury, and then you can put states Federal Reserve, and then you can go in there and look at the mortgage. You can also look and see how much each one of your states has in derivatives. It's utterly frightening. Now, this comes from the CFR CFR.com is, if you will, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report is what that stands for. And my friend Warren Burian, who was on my show years ago, put this together. It is his website. I commend him for what he does. He does research that is unbelievable. You will find out, he says, the top 25 banks listed total about $300 trillion of derivatives. Think about that. $300 trillion. Now, that $1 trillion, let me explain something. The banksters and the crooks that put the derivatives together have already made that much money. That's what they're valued at. And they want another $300 trillion just to hang it. Bill, you don't know what you're talking about it? You're an airhead. Right. Okay. You do it your way, Long John. But I'm the only guy on television anywhere in the world that's told you where to go find it. And you banksters better listen. You better start a foreign money accounts in your bank. Do you realize how many people I know right now who are holding dinar that would come to your bank and put it in? would you believe, in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 billion? Those are the people I know that are holding that much in dinar. Oh, yeah. Would they be happy to put that into a bank? You bet they would. What would that do to your bottom line, Mr. Banking Commissioner and the rest of you? Think about that. Just think a little bit about it, because it's already here. It can be put in your bank tomorrow or Monday, wherever you happen to be. Let's go to Bruce. Bruce, you're on the air, sir. Thank you for being there.
Hello?
Hello, you're there, sir. Go ahead. Don't listen to your television. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah. What makes you think Barack Obama?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah. What makes you think Barack Obama doesn't have this economy under control?
I'll tell you why. Give you a great answer. Why don't you tell me what Barack Obama has done since he's been in whatever office capacity he is, senator or whatever? Tell me what he's done. And what about Barack Obama inspires you so much that you would vote for him?
Barack, he's a man. He's very well spoken. I'm really feeling this guy. I really think this man can take us and get this war and everything over with.
But you haven't told me what. Let me ask you again. What has he done to prove to you that he's capable of doing that? I thought so. Hey, I appreciate your call, brother. Thank you. Yeah. We'll do a break and come right back after this. I'm Bill Boshears. This is Scizone 381-3838. By the way, I gave you the wrong place to go. It's CAFR1.com. CAFR1.com. Just type that in. It's http://CAFR1.com. It's gonna blow you away. Let's go to John. You've been there the longest. Thank you, sir, for standing by.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
How
I just want to know if you had it. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I just want to know if you had any information on Canada. How's their economy going? Because I've been hearing a bunch of things going on in other countries, and I just want to know if Canada is a safe place where you can just work a job and don't have to deal with all this stuff. I just ain't heard anything about it. There's too much going on here, and it make you think you just want to get on up out of here.
I hear part of what you're saying, but I've lost part of you in my ear there.
I'm sorry, Bill. I was just wanting to know is Canada maybe a better place? I just want to know if you know anything about their economy or.
I don't know, sir, if it's a better place or not. I do know that it's tempting. It is tempting, but yeah. I think there's a better place in Canada. They got as many problems as we have. They want to be like us. And man, I'm looking somewhere else. But I appreciate your call, John. If I find one, I'll put it out. I promise you. Take care.
You, Bill.
Got you. Let's go to Mike. You're there, sir.
Yeah, Bill, this is Mike.
Yeah.
As far as Bush is concerned, I think what he needs to do is take 50% of his money and assets and put it towards the banking system.
I think it'd be a great idea.
And also, I think he ought to be the first one over there in Iraq.
I don't think that he would do anything he's not going to do anything like that. I think George Bush should go to jail.
Yeah.
He and Dick Cheney should be tried for treason and hung from a yardarm, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They've taken this war. This war. They were plotting the war. We know before they ever got into office. It's a complete fiasco. I don't trust any of them. They're all a bunch of liars.
And anybody that's for that bailout, they ought to have to be the ones that put up the money.
Well, yeah, if you want to bail out, put your own money up there.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
There you go. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
Mike.
thank you, Bill.
Let's go to Roy. Roy, you're there, sir.
Hey, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is Roy in Cheviot, and I got to tell you, I just turned it on, and I watch your show. I think it's great that common sense has a voice here in Cincinnati, so I appreciate that.
You know, common sense, it don't take much. What it takes is you, the people. This show is all about you and information you're not going to get on any of the other channels.
Yeah.
They don't want this.
And I agree with you. What I wanted to say, though, was this week I was thinking, and I, you know, with all this money coming out of our pockets and bailing out the big corporations.
Yeah.
What I don't really understand, and maybe you can just guide me here, is how in the world does a man run the stocks up there, or help with the stocks and investments and everything, and when they decide to sever his relationship with the company, he walks away with a severance package, and sometimes in $100 million range.
Yeah, I know, and all of that comes into play. I don't think any of them should be allowed to do anything.
And I guess what really gets me is they walk away with all that money, and the people's money they're managing lose their retirement. They lose.
It doesn't matter. You're right. You're absolutely right. Roy, we've got to do something about that. Maybe we can get some vigilance on that. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We need something. How much time have I got left? I got time for Don here. Don, you're on the air, sir.
Hi, Bill.
How you doing tonight?
Great. I just have a quick thing that I noticed. You had done a program about the Amero being introduced in a few years here. And what do you think about the Fed belching out all this money to devalue our dollar and make everything that much easier to transpire? And I want to see your response offline.
It looks to me like it's a well thought out plan
Yes.
of taking America to its knees and not giving anybody any leeway.
And
it's an absolute shame that we can't have our country the way we want it when we have to put everybody else first and religion and all that other stuff. Don, I appreciate your call. Join me next week. I'll be right here. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I love your show.
Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. I'm Bill Boshears. I'll be here next week. Join me. This is a place where information gets talked about. You get to express your view nationally and internationally right here in the Scizone. Thank you. Good night. Be safe.